Hi. Oops. We got a quick lunchtime errand. Okay. And during my lunch half hour, so I got a quick 20-minute ride to chit chat with you. If I don't get myself hit on the parking lot. All right. So if you've watched so far already, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button because, you know, my videos are fascinating. So many things to talk about. I am going to start kind of a series. I mean, this is pretty much in the car with Connie, but I'm going to just kind of start a series of my adventures trying to get myself downsized and living within my means and hopefully, you know, living in a nice, small, wooded area, chopping wood. I don't know. Nothing fascinating, but independent. Take care of my animals, do the things. But the deal is that to get to that stage, I have to do a lot of planning and I have to get a lot of stuff organized and downsized and situated so that I can, you know, start with like the small shed, to move the shed so I can fill the shed. I've got my camper set and I've got a couple things ready to roll. You know, winter is coming. It is, you know, 12:30 in the afternoon and it looks like nighttime because it's always cloudy. And I think just, you know, my adventure, I'm kind of hoping that folks will follow along with my adventure and give me tips and give me advice and, you know, add your input, because I don't give a shit what you think. And if you do think that, like, I'm doing something wrong, you know, as far as how I'm doing something, I don't mind a comment that explains that or kindly suggests that I try a different way. You know, I found out, you know, what happens when you have a Gen Z. I don't even know what generation my child is. I'm XYZ. Did you know that YouTube has, like, there is a thing that's basically rage bait. So it's the kind of the cooking videos where there's this wife just dumping a shit ton of stuff into a casserole or candy or whatever and baking it, and then her husband's filming it and he's like, oh, that looks good. I'm like, these are the most ridiculous things I've ever seen on the interwebs. And my daughter was laughing at me, explaining that they're rage bait. There's people who watch things just to, like, complain, and there's people that watch those particular cooking videos because it's like a thing. And so it just kind of, it strikes me as funny that these things exist in the world. I mean, I know people have their fetishes, but whatever. If you want to watch my videos and watch me live my life and struggle and try to live within my means and try to clear out stuff and try to, make a move to a quieter, calmer life, then I welcome the company. I do have my regular 9-to-5 job that I have to do Monday through Friday. So there is a large stretch in the middle of the day that's just me sitting at a computer. But there's the rest of my time that I'm sewing and crafting and taking care of pets and doing stuff, and I'm cooking and meal prepping or whatever the case may be, cleaning, and I'm all for the video company while you watch and kibitz on my life, because I don't know, that's fun. Let's see, just as long as everybody's kind. I mean, I don't, honestly, I think I belong to the club of children without parents. Both of my parents have passed, and so when you are a member of that club, you kind of realize that there's no one to tell you no. There's no one to tell you no anymore. So I know that my dad, who most recently passed, if he were to haunt me right now, his main comment to me would be, Connie, stop wearing my clothes, because I am currently wearing his clothes. I've got his pajama pants on for my little errand. That's embarrassing. Got a shirt of his on. I wear a lot of his clothes. Why? Because I don't want to go buy my own, and I don't want to part with them. But I'm sure that he is sitting right here in this passenger seat saying, Connie, stop wearing my clothes. Move on. But they're comfortable. But it also gives me a little bit of a perspective as to how small my dad was when he passed, or his last year of life. Because, your father, my father, to me was, I don't know, bigger than life? Seemed bigger than life? And quite honestly, I'm wearing his clothes because I don't fit in a lot of my own clothes, and I put on his pajama pants and they were feeling a little tight. And so then I am just oh my gosh, had my dad really shrunk that much? Or, yes, am I gaining weight? Yes, I am. Do I care? No, I don't. Other than my health, of course I care about being, overweight, but, if I cared, I'd exercise more, clearly. But anywho, my point is, I didn't realize that my father had shrunk. Or perhaps he had been that size for many years, and because he was my father, and that I just he was just bigger than life. So that's that. For those of you who are also a member of this club, that no longer have both their parents, I know that you can relate to what it feels like when you realize that you're it. I knew that when my daughter was born, my mother had already passed, so I couldn't call her up and ask her the questions about anything. I didn't know anything. And when my daughter was sick, and eventually she had to have her tonsils and adenoids out because she was getting all these ear infections and everything. And I was just your baby has its first fever, and you're what do I do? So I had to figure all that out by myself. But it would have been nice to have been able to call Mom. Or it would have been nice to even call my best friend, Kim, who had also passed before my daughter was born. Because I viewed Kim as an excellent mom. She But I decided that instead of, I don't want to call it depression, but sometimes it is depression. I have anxiety. And I know that seems, some people brush off anxiety. Some people brush it off, especially when you're my age, that we grew up pretty much maybe in the generation, like, to be seen and not heard. You were well behaved. You pushed through everything, suck it up. I brought you into this world. I can take you out kind of mentality of parents. You will do what I say, blah, 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 blah. That my coping mechanisms for a lot of my anxiety, a lot of my coping mechanisms was, not healthy the older I got. But when I was younger, I cried a lot, but then I got called a crybaby. So what I'm trying to say is that before you brush off someone saying that they have anxiety as, oh, just suck it up, try to understand that sometimes our version of sucking it up really lends itself to analysis paralysis, sitting and staring, fight, flight, or freeze. Let's just call it freeze. Inability to do stuff, because the world gets overwhelming, and when I hit a low where I don't want to do anything and I'm feeling overwhelmed, it does fall into the category of being depressed or not understanding my next move, hence, trying to figure out what I want to do about, moving again. And so I think I was going to try to, you have to choose every day. You have to choose your mood. So, I can't say that, and when I wake up in the morning, I am ready to choose delight. Choose delighted. Because my mornings start very, chaotic, because I have dogs that want out, and my chickens are refusing to understand the time change, and so I'm trying to battle, dogs catching chickens and all sorts of stuff. So choosing delighted every morning is a little bit tough, but I've kind of decided that maybe I should try to make my life, my day-to-day life, a little bit more romantic for myself. Like when I cook a meal and when I make a plate, set a pretty plate, make it nice for myself. Maybe when I finally get my shit together in the morning, I should try to do something with my hair. Maybe put on some mascara. All evidence to the contrary, because clearly I have not done any of that shit today. Ta-da! So the act of me romanticizing my life, making it a little bit more romantic? I don't even know if that's the word. Special. I haven't started it. Clearly, I have a bad cold. My nose is sore. I have that feeling that you get before you start having nosebleeds because the air is dry, and I have a sore throat, blah, 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 blah. So I haven't been exactly making my life special. And I think I will. So there. That's what I'm going to do. they say, if you have a goal, you weigh every decision against, is that moving me closer to my goal or farther away from my goal? Closer to my goal, farther away from my goal. And I am going to start using that as my lens when I am, working on stuff, working on downsizing, selling my crafts, because I'm kind of hoping that I could sell some of the things I create just for extra money. I need to get a second job right now, evenings and weekends, because I need to pay down a couple medical bills and well, that's pretty much it, the medical bills. Because I'm trying my best to not put things on credit card right now. I've just I'm starting to go to make sure that my groceries, I'm going to pay for the groceries with the cash that I have for the week. And if I don't have the cash for the week, then I'm going to raid the pantry and see what I can make instead of being all poopy about it and saying, I'll just go to the whatever and charge it. No. I need to ask myself, is this behavior moving me closer to my dream or farther away from my dream? And right now my dream is live within my means, downsize, move to the woods, that's it. I mean, I like my job. I like the people at my job. Let me put it that way. I love the people that I work with. But you'll see, as you witness my life, as I put together montages of my existence, that it is a lot of sitting on my ass. Sitting on my ass at a computer. And I'm good at that. It's not near as stressful as teaching. So there's that. I did that for 34 years. Sometimes I miss putting together a really good lesson plan. I do. But I don't miss the stress waking up in the morning and knowing that, what fresh hell waits me, because I don't know. There's a lot of fresh hell that can await a teacher or a program manager or, anyone in education. All right, so I'm back home. Lunch half hour is about over. I'm going to go back to my computer. Follow me on my adventure, subscribe, all that stuff. And maybe someday I will set up an account where you can buy me a coffee and you can help me pay down that medical bill. All right, I love you. Bye.